Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're back. I apologize for my absence just with this whole COVID thing. Things got a little bit crazy, but I'm so glad to be back and talking about the paranormal, which is my absolute passion. So today we're going to be discussing sleep paralysis, which is something I don't think everybody experiences, but a very good majority of people do experience, which is super, super cool. But also terrifying, of course. If you see me looking down, it's because I've got a few little notes here, just because there are some technical terms that I'm going to go over at the beginning of this video, just really, really quick to get the science out of it and straight into the paranormal side of it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm so excited that you're here and you're back, and I'm back, and all of that jazz. So let's get started. So sleep paralysis is essentially when you are asleep but awake at the same time, and you are unable to move any part of your body. You are unable to scream, you are unable to talk, you are unable to do anything except move your eyes around the room. And so it can be a very terrifying experience for some people, but also a very eye-opening and awakening experience for a lot of people. Now, of course, there's always science behind a lot of these things, a lot of these phenomena that happen to our bodies. There's always an explanation, and then we'll get into the paranormal side. So, scientists say that sleep paralysis occurs between the third and fourth stage of sleep. There are 4 stages to sleep. The 4 stages are NREM, which stands for non-rapid eye movement, NREM alpha, NREM theta, NREM delta, and REM. Now, a lot of people think that it's a cycle. A lot of people think that it's a cycle, but it's actually like a back and forth loop. So you start up at the top with NREM alpha, and you move down, move down, move down. On the 4th one, you move back, move back, move back, which is super, super cool. You don't go from REM to NREM alpha, which is the first step, without some major issues. Like, you're gonna be really, really fucking scared if you go from this point to this point. Your body's not going to know what to do. So sleep paralysis normally happens between the 3rd and 4th step. This is a hormone that goes through our bodies that keeps us from acting out our dreams. So people that sleepwalk lack this hormone, and they tend to like walk around the house, open the fridge, eat food. Sometimes when we're younger, and sometimes even when we're older, we'll have dreams that we're using the restroom and we'll actually pee our pants. This hormone stops us from doing that. So when kids are younger, a lot of the time that hormone's not fully developed, and they'll either sleepwalk, pee the bed, that kind of thing. But it's because they're paralyzed and they can't get up. Literally paralyzed. So sleep paralysis happens when you are between stage 4 and you very rapidly move to stage 1.5, where you're almost awake, almost asleep. So you have your eyes fully open. You're able to see the actual real room around you, but you're still dreaming. So the things that you see are not actually there. It's a hallucination. It's a hallucination that happens in our brain. Now to the paranormal side of it, since we got all the sciencey technical things out of the way. A lot of people, including myself, believe that when you are in this state of mind between rapid eye movement, which is basically pitch black, like you don't dream during this time, it is when your body is completely healing itself. So when you're dreaming, your body's not necessarily healing itself, and this takes up the majority of your time sleeping is REM. A lot of people, including myself, believe that when you are in this state, you are very much open to a lot of paranormal and reality experiences. I have only had one very scary experience with sleep paralysis. I can't talk today. With sleep paralysis. And that was at my dad's house when I was about 15. But I've experienced sleep paralysis ever since I started puberty, pretty much. So when I was in like the 4th grade, 5th grade, I started puberty way before that, but that's another topic altogether. But when I started hitting puberty and my hormones were changing and things were starting to get weird and I was sleeping a lot more, I would experience sleep paralysis all the time where I couldn't move, but nothing scary happened because I was more close to stage 1 than I was to stage 2. This one experience that I had though, however, I was closer to what I believe was stage 2, and my mind and body and soul were open to the paranormal to speak to me. And it was absolutely terrifying. And I never in my life had nightmares like this before. So that's in my heart what I believe to be knowledge that this was an actual paranormal experience. I was sleeping in my dad's guest room, and during this time I was about 15, and I started to go through my very first bout of depression. So a lot of people cope with depression different ways, and I coped with it by eating way too much and sleeping way too much. And so I would be asleep for the majority of the day, including in most of my classes. I'd come home, eat a quick snack, and then I'd fall asleep for about 6 to 7 hours, and then I'd wake up and eat dinner and then fall back asleep for another good amount of hours. And during this time, it was a weekend day, it was a Saturday, I was asleep in the middle of the day. I had gotten far too much sleep. My body was almost exhausted from the amount of sleep that I had gotten. And I woke up unable to move, and I was kind of prepared for this because it started happening a long time ago, and you just kind of wait it out. You start to just try and wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. You can't do it, so you keep trying. Sometimes when things are a little scary, you try to scream, you can't. You just have a lot of rapid eye movement, and then eventually you come to, your body's like, okay, you're awake, time to get up. I was closer to stage 2, like I said, and I was lucid dreaming, but I feel in my heart that this was not a dream. There was a little boy standing in the corner of the room, and I could see him, and I was absolutely terrified. And there was not very many experiences where I would see somebody or see an apparition or a spirit in a dream that I was actually genuinely afraid of. But I looked at him, and he wasn't dressed any abnormal way. He wasn't looking at me any abnormal way. He didn't have like blood coming from, nothing like that. It was just the feeling that he gave me terrified me beyond what I can explain. And he started to walk to the end of the bed, and I tried to scream, and I obviously could not scream. And then he started to crawl on the bed. And this is where it gets scary. I could feel him hop on the bed. I could hear the bed squeak. I could feel the pressure on the mattress. I could feel his legs dragging across the tops of my shins and sitting on my stomach, straddling my stomach, and sitting down, getting this close to my face, taking his hands around my neck and choking me as he laughed maniacally, and it sounded and it felt so loud, but I knew that no one could hear it because I knew what was happening. I just didn't know how to get out of it. And when I'm dreaming normally, I can say, oh, this is a dream, and then I can wake myself up. But during this time, I was thinking in my head, this is a dream. And it was not a dream. He was sitting on top of me, choking me, laughing. And I don't know who he was, where he came from, but I remember being so terrified and genuinely unable to breathe. I could feel the imprints of his fingers on my neck, and I could feel him squeezing harder like a grown man was choking me. It was only then when my father walked in and saw me gasping for air that it stopped. And it didn't stop instantly. When my dad walked in and he asked if I was okay, all I could do was not even move my head, look to the side, continue gasping for air. And I saw the little boy and felt the little boy let go of my neck, turn around, look at my dad, look at me, smile, and then disappear. I never saw him again. But let me tell you, after that experience, I didn't sleep a good couple of days. I mean, I slept, but it wasn't like a good sleep the next couple of days. And I tried my best to figure this out with science and figure out why I had this dream and why I could feel him touching me and dragging his legs and feeling his fingers around my throat, and not understanding what those feelings were when I had never been choked in my life. I could literally feel his hands around my throat. And then it came to that there was no explanation other than a paranormal experience. I don't know if he was a spirit. I don't know if he was something more. But I do know that I had a hard time sleeping after that. I would love to hear your guys' paranormal experiences with sleep paralysis. I find them so interesting. So please leave a comment below or message me or email me, even on my business email. I just want to hear your stories. Also, in my channel, I've decided that I'm going to add some true crime elements to my channel, just because I think that it would be fun and it gives me more things to talk about other than just my paranormal experiences, because who doesn't love a good serial killer story? I appreciate you guys watching, and I'm so excited to be back. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I will see you later this week.